Mm. Hello, everybody. Come on in. We're just trying to get our sound and our visuals adjusted, so just be patient for a few seconds. But as y'all coming in, go ahead and do your usual checklist, which is send out your daily heart me. Um, Go ahead and repost to your page. Also, add it to your story. Add the live to your story. That way we can go ahead and get pushed out to the FYP as quickly as possible. So, happy Thursday to everyone, aka Friday Eve. We are nearing the end of the week. And guess what? We have another double header today. This is not the only town hall we'll be doing today. So, as y'all coming in, welcome, welcome, welcome. We have a great candidate coming up. We'll wait for that graphic to get loaded on the host side. So in the meantime, go ahead and tap the live, share the live out. If you would like to go ahead and contribute to the story, feel free to do so. That would be great. I've said the story. I mean, contribute to our gift goal whenever it gets set up. So it'll pop up here, our gift goal. But as far as the story is concerned, you can reshare it out to your story. That does help out with the FYP. Also, reposting a live helps as well. So, hope everybody's doing good. Pam, Miss Pam, good to see you again. Hey, Misty, how are y'all doing? And hopefully the candidate will be here soon. And then we'll get started. This particular candidate is from my home state, so I am excited about that. This may be the fourth or the third candidate we've had thus far from the state of Alabama that's running either on the state level or the federal level, running for a seat. So I am excited about that. Now, this candidate is from the 1st District of Alabama, which encompasses the coastline, which makes up what we know as Baldwin County and Mobile County. So that's down at the bottom of the state where nearing the Gulf Coast. I'm still going to call it the Gulf of Mexico. I'm sorry, Mexico instead of America. So I'm going to know it as the Gulf of America, which that is the 1st district of where the 1st district of Alabama is. So this will be interesting to learn about this candidate and some of the issues and some of the policies that will help the 1st District of Alabama. So thank y'all for the gift so far, and thank y'all for coming in. We're just trying to get adjusted on the host side, so please be patient on that. But in the meantime, how are y'all feeling thus far? It has been a very, very busy week for me, trying to get back into the swing of things since the holidays during Thanksgiving. So trying to get that brain working back into productivity mode. So thank y'all for coming in as we're trying to get started. Okay, so I got some thumbs up. So everybody feeling pretty good, pretty optimistic thus far. If you do put one in the chat with a thumbs down, that's okay. Everybody has those days, but understanding that better days are to come. So we have those one of those days type of moments if you do put a thumbs down. But so far, so good. We've had multiple thumbs ups in the chat. All right, now we got our graphic up, so that's good. All right, so next we'll be waiting on the candidate to come up in the live, and then after that, we'll go ahead and get started. All right, so we're going to reset the gift goal. So thank you all those who did contribute to it. Let's see who's contributed. So we had Miss Nikki and Miss Pam. Thank you all for going ahead and clearing out that gift goal for OVC. And also, how are you all doing with keeping up with your local politics? Have you all heard any special elections where you all are, or any other interesting candidates that you would like for OVC to highlight for a town hall soon? You have free reign to reach out to OVC in our personal DMs, letting us know if you would like for a candidate to come on OVC so we can get to know them. That would be great. We do typically find these people on our own, but we are open to having people who watch OVC send us suggestions on who we can highlight on OVC to get to know. Hey, Yolanda, how are you? Welcome those who are in. Please go ahead and get our likes up. Thus far, we have about, thank you for the gifts. Right now, we have about 3.4K likes. So let's see if we can get to at least 5K in the next 5 minutes before we start the live. So we can go ahead and get into that algorithm on the FYP. That would be great. And thank you for clearing out the gift goal again. That is awesome. All right. So I'm going to read some highlights with the candidate Clyde Jones. He has an interesting background. So, of course, he is from the state of Alabama. Clyde is running on the Democratic Party side for the U.S. House of Representatives. And as I stated before, he will be running on the 1st District, which encompasses places like Daphne, Alabama, that's near the coastline of the state, Mobile, Alabama, so those coastal areas. He is a U.S. Army veteran. He was a combat veteran. He served in Desert Storm and in the Rocky Freedom 2 tours. He also earned a Bronze Star in Leadership and Service as a combat Army soldier. While he retired as a first sergeant, he also became a minister. He's also a community advocate in Baldwin County. And his advocacy focuses on uplifting local family members, strengthening their community ties. He also has centers which he holds a lot of deep roots to in Baldwin County. A lot of the things that he advocates for is comprehensive health care for all. Now, that wording is interesting to me because in the past, we've had a lot of candidates talk about universal health care or Medicare for all. So it'll be interesting for me to get to know if the term comprehensive health care is synonymous to the same term as Medicare for all or universal health care. So that'll be good for me to get to know, for him to break down on that particular wording of it being comprehensive. Also, some of his other policy prescriptions is he wants total government transparency. He also highlights being a leader. He wants people who do hold office to reflect the needs of everyday people and not the needs of corporate donors and lobbyists. He also understands that having a heavy social media presence is important, not only having physical boots on the ground for people, but also understanding you do need a social media presence just to reach people that you would typically wouldn't reach on a day-to-day basis. Okay, so let me see if I can see the candidate in the queue. Chat, y'all let me know if you do see Clyde. I don't see him in the queue yet. But also be my second eyes because I can't catch everything. Okay, he's not in the live yet, so it looks like we did send him an invite on the back end. Well, no, it says he's here. Okay, so let me bring him up. Hi, Clyde, how are you?
Fine, how are you? I'm sorry, let me get my video on. Let's see, hold on, let me get my video on if I can.
Okay.
I should be able to. All right, there we go. I'm here. I'm here. Can you all hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, great. Awesome.
Okay. All right. Well, glad you're here. Welcome. So just let me know whenever you're ready and we'll go ahead and get started.
Oh, I'm ready whenever you are.
Okay. All right, sure. So hello, everyone. Welcome to Our Vote Counts Town Hall Live. I am your moderator, Jasby Flower. Just to introduce OVC to those who do not know who we are also known as OVC, We are a nonpartisan movement uniting Americans from all walks of life to empower voters, support candidates of integrity, and ensure every voice is heard. Through education, outreach, accountability, and action, we're knowing that we're building a stronger democracy. So, with one informed vote at a time, please join us because your vote is your power. So, tonight we're joined by Clyde W. Jones. Clyde is a candidate for Alabama's first congressional district. We will be talking about his background, his vision for the district, and of course, taking your questions live. So, Clyde, I'll just run down the format of the town hall. So after each set of topic questions that I give you, we will allow one person to come up and ask you a question. If we don't have someone to come up and ask you a question on the panel, then we'll just pick out a question out of the chat for them to ask you. Okay?
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. So as an introductory, I talked about you being a highly decorated Army veteran. You're also a minister and a community advocate. But for those who are meeting you for the first time, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're running for Congress?
Sure. Thank you for having me here today. I'm glad for the opportunity to be here with you all. I joined the military at 17 years old. Like you said, I'm a military veteran, and I actually grew up in Virginia. So I joined the military at 17, spent 21 years in the Army, a couple combat tours and so forth and so on. So always wanted to be involved in community. So, of course, I've been more of a public servant. And I know that's a cliche for most people, politicians. Hey, I'm not a politician, I'm a public servant. But I mean, that's what I've done all my entire life. So 21 years in the Army, retired, and I actually went to work for DuPont, chemical company after that. It was kind of the family business. My brother and mother worked there, so I kind of joined. Just retired from there last year. A lot of activities in the community. I was the president of the board for Alabama Rise, which is a nonprofit here in the state of Alabama that works to help alleviate poverty in the state of Alabama. So for the last 2 years, I was the president of the board of directors for that. So I really enjoyed doing that work. And I had to step down in order to run for office. So I had to resign my position and kind of get a replacement in for myself. So again, I've worked in community. I work here in Baldwin County, where I live in Daphne, Alabama, we recruit minority teachers in the area. So great place to come and teach. I know, a lot of people say, well, education in Alabama, and that's one of my issues. But Baldwin County is probably one of the best when it comes to education in the state of Alabama. But we want more diversity. So that's part of what I do in the community as well. Among other things, raise money for schools. I'm involved in a lot of different activities. Unfortunately, I had to step back from some of those in order to concentrate and run for office. And the reason I am is because we need people of leadership. We need people of integrity. We need people who want to represent the people and not some interests or party in general. I mean, of course, I'm a Democrat, and have been all my life. But I'm not beholden to party. I'm beholden to the people that I want to represent. So we need people in those positions to be able to do that. This is the first time in many years we have one Democrat in each congressional district in the state of Alabama. So I'm excited about that. I think there's change coming, and I'm excited to be part of that change. So.
Thank you for that introduction. So just a level set before we get into the serious topics, I do want to ask you an icebreaker question. So can you tell me what is a hobby that you've had put on the back burner before you started your campaign?
Going to New Orleans to listen to live music and eat good food. I have put that on the back burner. I mean, it's really completely, that is something my wife and I really enjoy doing. Spending time in New Orleans, which is only like 2 hours and 15 minutes away from us here in Alabama. A lot of people don't know the geography of how close we are to New Orleans, but We spent a lot of time there, have a lot of friends there. So that is definitely something I have put on the back burner. Haven't been in months now. Starting to have withdrawal symptoms a little bit. So, so yeah.
That's understood. I know, like, campaigning can be very daunting and it can be very time consuming. So just to, break up the campaign rush, you do have to, reset by, getting away for a little bit. So New Orleans is definitely not a bad place to visit. But hey, don't forget about Mobile because we are the
Oh
the
yeah, no
epicenter
doubt.
for Mardi Gras. But we'll get into that. I do
No.
got a question about that for you. So,
Oh yeah, yeah,
all
sure,
right.
sure.
Yeah, so because I'm in Alabama too, so we'll
Oh,
get into
okay.
that. But
Awesome,
yeah,
awesome.
so
Yeah.
I want to roll into talking about economic development and jobs. So my first question to you regarding this is, so as someone who's advocated for tax fairness and support for income families, what
hmm
changes would you pursue to ensure Alabama's tax system helps working people rather than squeezing those already struggling?
One of the things that we have been working on, thank you for that question. One of the things that we have been working on at Alabama Rise was um, the elimination of the grocery tax. All states don't tax groceries, but Alabama is one of those states that tax groceries. So we were very fortunate last year, or year before last, to get the first time after many years to get those that tax reduced, and then the last session they reduced it one more penny, which really helps people who are struggling to make ends meet and to afford groceries. It doesn't seem like not a lot, but every little bit helps to help those who are in need. So that's one of the things as far as taxes are concerned that we're really proud of uh, in the rise, and we will continue. As a legislator, I'll look to figure out more ways of tax reform and to help people to be able to make ends meet.
All right, thank you for that. And also, just given that Baldwin County and Mobile County growth in manufacturing,
Mhm.
and they also have economic growth when it comes to transportation and warehousing, and especially that will lead to rising in real estate and property values. Could you tell me what specific proposals would you support in Congress to ensure that economic development in the district can lead to broad-based prosperity, especially for working families and
Right,
college students and service workers?
right. So some of the things that and a lot of the issues that I want to focus on kind of they all combine together, like workers' rights. Paying a living wage, right? Not just a bare minimum. Paying a living wage. So that type of thing I would like to focus on. Workers' rights, unionizing. Alabama, they're real hard on unions, right? And if it wasn't for unions, a lot of the jobs that we do have, or a lot of the rights that workers have, wouldn't exist at all today. So, um, I've been on both sides. I've been when I first started with DuPont, I was an operator. I was in the union. 3 or 4 years later, I became management. So I was on the other side of the fence and looking, as we were people spend a lot of money to not allow unions to exist. That should tell you that you know they're putting profit above the rights and the of the workers, right? And to be able to provide for workers. So um, a lot of these CEOs and they're making record numbers of profits, right? Record amount of profits. But it's important that the workers have again a livable wage, affordable housing, um, great schools for their kids to be able to attend. So all of those things work together, and even the immigration reform and our immigration policy. And hopefully we'll get more into that later. But all of that works together for economic development as well.
Thank you for that. So, all right. So, I'll allow one person to come up and ask you a question. And, chat, feel free to drop any question that you would like Clyde to ask if we haven't highlighted it thus far regarding that particular topic. Feel free to drop it in the chat. Can also keep in mind if I do not pick out the question, it's a lot of times it's because I'm going to get to that topic. So
Mhm.
feel free to just be patient on that. Our mods will repeat the question for me just as a reminder. So
Mhm.
just be mindful of that you won't get skipped over. It's a lot of times we like to hold the question until we get to that particular topic. So let me go ahead and check the queue just to make sure there's nobody there. All right, there's no one there. So, all right, we'll just go ahead and roll over into talking about healthcare and women's
Mhm.
health. So, given Alabama's high maternal mortality rate,
Right.
we also deal with widespread gaps in women's healthcare coverage, and in fact, that many women of childbearing age remain uninsured and underinsured.
Mhm.
That tend to create concrete that will cause a lot of setbacks when it comes to access to healthcare. Could you tell me what steps would you support in Congress to expand access to comprehensive women's healthcare for the district? And also, could you expound upon comprehensive healthcare? Is that synonymous to Medicare for all or universal healthcare?
Absolutely. Yeah, it is synonymous with it, and I'm really for us having some type of system in place to cover everyone in healthcare. First of all, that the ACA credits need to be extended, right? And absolutely need to be extended because I just talked to an individual 2 days ago. Their premium is going from $300 a month to $1,000 a month here in the next month or so. So everybody can't afford that type of increase, right? Um, Alabama, we already didn't expand Medicaid, right? So we're one of those states that didn't expand Medicaid. So we already had 300,000 people that were in the gap, that made too much money for Medicaid, but not enough money to afford medical coverage. So the book, big beautiful bill, I call it the big ugly bill. Um, it didn't affect us as much in the state of Alabama, only because we weren't doing anything anyway. If we were actually working towards trying to cover people in Medicaid expansion, and it would have affected us more. But the fact that we were doing the bare minimum to begin with, that's why it hadn't affected us. And we still had rural hospitals closing. Um, we're going to have even more because hospitals, they budget. A lot of these cuts are two or three years down the road, but they budget for 5 years out. So if they know, that these cuts are coming, even more hospitals in the state of Alabama will close. I mean, across the nation, really, but in the state of Alabama, they were certainly closed. Like you said, we have the highest, one of the highest rates of maternal mortality. So that is not by accident. It is because we don't have the coverage. I mean, we don't have the hospitals that we need. We have some counties that don't have an ambulance, right? They got to wait for an ambulance from another county to come in, right? So we need some type of universal health care. Not saying that the Affordable Health Care Act was perfect. No one ever said it was perfect. But instead of us taking things away from it, I I want to be one of those people there suggesting what we need to add to make it better. So hopefully that kind of answered what you were talking about.
Absolutely. And I did read that just in our state of Alabama that, to your point, that we are on the brink of 5 rural hospitals closing, and a lot of that funding, to your point, they tend to budget out within 5 years, and they also
Mm.
depend on the funding from Medicaid.
Right.
And with that being said, just with if those hospitals alone close, it would definitely cause more so of a healthcare desert. So I
Hmm.
appreciate your stance on you would love to propose a comprehensive healthcare plan for people to have easier access. So all right, so the next question I have for you regarding this is we understand that medication prices continue to rise, which
Hmm.
means putting more working families and seniors at risk. How would you work in Congress to lower prescription drug costs and hold pharmaceuticals companies accountable to those price hikes? And I understand that we did have something similar to that in the last administration with capping cost of insulin, but
Hmm.
if you can expound upon how we can touch on the other medications to make pricing more competitive, that would be great.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, like you said, previous administration, they did it with insulin, which has been rolled back, by the way, of course, right? So obviously, this administration doesn't really care about the effects of the cost of medications, affecting families. If you look at other countries, we're the most expensive when it comes to medical medication. Um, there's a reason for that, right? We're more concerned with profits for companies than we are for taking care of our citizens. So my proposal is to again address certainly those medications that are needed for life-saving medications that are needed on us, like insulin and other things that are needed by someone with a chronic condition. Making sure whether it be supplementing the cost, through federal funding or whatever it might be, and as we learn more about each other, one thing for me, I don't know everything about everything, right? I don't know, but I know how to put people in place around me to help me make those decisions and to help me get those policies. So I want to have. Right now, we have people running healthcare in this country who don't know anything about healthcare, right? So, but I want to have someone on my team who knows exactly what to do and how to make those things happen. So certainly, I want to work towards lowering health medication costs. If other countries can do it, we can do it as well. So there are ways we can get it done.
All right, thank you for that answer. All right, so I'm going to open it up again for anyone who would like to ask Mr. Clyde a question regarding healthcare. But I did see a question in the chat. Someone did ask you, do you support a cutting the filibuster?
Well, no, I don't. Not right away, because it can go either way, right? I think it's important. It's an important tool that we have to block bad legislation. Again, sometimes it blocks things that we really need to get through, but we need to have people in government who care on both sides of the aisle about people and not just party. So uh, I would have to look closer at that, but initially, no, I wouldn't be, again, because it is a tool that we have to also block bad legislation. One of the things that we should do a victory lap for Alabama Rise, when we block some bad legislation, right? It's not always getting good legislation to pass, but it's also blocking bad legislation from getting through. So I think the same thing, and I think the filibuster helps with those. So right now it might look good to us to be able to do that, but next year or the year after, it may not be so good, right? So I think we need to really take a closer look at that. Now, not saying that there aren't some administrative ways to fix the system, but completely eliminating that, I don't think will be the effective way of taking care of it right now.
In the moment that we're in right now, because of so many things getting affected and cut and taken away, that it's a net negative for the everyday working class people and just people in general. So I thoroughly understand that. But I see to your point, you're saying if when the event that the Democratic side becomes the majority, I'm sorry, if in the event that the Democrats become the minority again, and you don't have that relic to use, then you won't have a tool to hold the line. So I thoroughly appreciate your stance on that. All right, so we'll roll into talking about public education. All right,
Okay.
so I would like to ask you, since we know we've learned that you served on the Board of Education, which focused on it was a I'm sorry, not the Board of Education. You served on the board that was more of a non-profit that supported
Yeah.
local schools, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Could you tell me, how would you bring that experience to Congress to secure better funding and resources to Alabama public schools? And if you can touch on just the dismantling of the federal Department of Education, that would be great too.
Yeah, absolutely. So, uh, first of all, my wife works in for Baldwin County Public Schools, so I have a close connection to public schools. This dismantling of the education department really, I mean, it has a lot of layers to it. The Choose Act was something that's being put in all over the country to really to segregate schools more. I do believe that's what it's for. Um, this current administration, they're passing more and more items to eliminate having disabled uh, children in schools, or having them to have access to education. So uh, we need the Department of Education. If we need the Department of Education to be better than it has been, but we certainly don't need it dismantled. Um, public education is important to all of us. So many people. I had someone say something to me a few weeks ago, and it really was offensive. But it said, "Well, if your child is in public schools in 3 years, it means you don't care about their education." It really caught me off guard because public education is what this country. I mean, this is how we grow as a country. Unity, uh, great public schools. Uh, we just try to do these home schools, which if that's what you choose to do, that's fine. But let's not take school money from public education, from public schools, to fund these other private schools or home schools. If you have the funds and you want to do that, do it, right? But we still need to continue to fund our public schools. We don't need to dismantle Department of Education. Again, if anything, we need to make it better. We need to enhance it, and we need to put people in place who know what they're doing in leading these different departments. So, um,
Okay, thank you for that. And also, I learned that Baldwin County itself, when it comes to the overall state ranking, Baldwin County is ranked, well, their school system particularly is ranked to be like one of the top performing large school systems in the state.
mhm,
Just with that being said, regarding the growing industries with the Gulf Coast in your district, such
right.
as having the aerospace there,
Mhm,
shipbuilding jobs, offshore mineraling extractions,
mhm.
how would you prepare the students in that district for those growing industries along the Gulf Coast?
Well, one of the things we have here in Baldwin County, I don't know if you know, but we just opened the Baldwin Preparatory School a couple years ago, and what that is it partners with industries and it trains high school, not just on the basic, education they need, but in the skills that they need to be able to work in these industries that are coming up, whether it be welding, auto mechanics, whatever it is, electronics, being an electrician. So we have all these trades that they, which they, you have to be accepted into. There's a list of people who want to get the students who want to get in those schools. So um, we need to expand those programs, right? I mean, everyone is not meant to go to college right away, right? But for those who want to go to college right away, we want to have those programs in place too to make sure that they are prepared. And I truly believe that Baldwin County has one of the best systems in place to have people prepared to enter into college or into the workforce. But we need more of that, right? With this growing industry that we have here, the new plants, we have a big new plant being built in Bay Minette. So they're partnering with the school as well, training people to be able to get into those jobs. A lot of those jobs start off paying $60,000 a year, right? So they're gonna start off making more money than their teacher that trained them, which is another thing that's near and dear to my heart. Teachers don't get paid enough, right? So those students are gonna start off making more money uh, than their teachers. I saw a bill here. He said college is a scam. College right now it is. I mean, it's the price is skyrocketing. You know, and there are things that we need to do to fix that. You know, colleges aren't being allowed to teach what they. You know, this administration is really blocking what needs to be taught in many places. And again, um, Bill, I hear you. You know, sometimes it is right.
Yes.
You know, I have three adult children, and my youngest is a teacher, and he has student loans to pay off. Right. So you know, you would think that we would have some type of program in place to some type of loan forgiveness or something for especially for those out here trying to teach our young people coming up uh, for some type of
Yes.
relief. But we have nothing right now.
Well, I know this is not in your district, but just in the state in general. I'm not sure if you heard that the University of Alabama had to cut two of their minority ran magazines because of it. It was under the guise of DEI. So now those students don't have their publications
Absolutely.
rammed around what some of the things they would like to write about regarding their issues or their top interests. They would like to let the students know about. But there was a comment in it was a question in the chat. Someone Yoli asked, "Will you support fully funding or replacing the Fed programs like Title I and after school grants?"
Replacing or funding, I support fully funding them. Yes, I don't know about replacing them. I support funding uh, those programs for sure. Those
Yes.
are certainly needed. I think they're very much so.
Absolutely. All right. So, if anyone would like to come up and ask Mr. Clyde a question regarding any of those topics that we just discussed, and just recently we just talked about education, feel free to request up. But in the meantime, it looks like I don't have any other questions for anybody to ask you in the chat. But I do want to go ahead and stop and give you some quick rapid fire questions if you are ready.
Sure, yeah. Hmm.
All right. So,
All
yes
right.
or no, should Congress pass a national cap on out of pocket healthcare costs?
Yes.
All right. In one sentence, what's the first healthcare reform you have pushed on day one?
Uh, Medicaid, allowing it to be more accessible to the states who want to uh,
Expanding on it?
expand. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
And so, yes or no, do you support expanding VA services in rural communities?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right.
I, being a veteran, I definitely I support that, and it's very much needed. Very much needed. Yeah.
Okay. So, quickly, let's see if you can make your choice.
Hmm.
So, between transparency first or bipartisanship first, which one will be your priority?
Between transparency,
See, first or bipartisanship first,
well, I mean,
if you
to
could
me, it's
choose.
hard. It's hard to choose. I mean, to me, both of those can work hand in hand. You know, being transparent
Hmm.
and being bipartisan. Uh, I believe it works hand in hand. But
Okay.
um, yeah, I mean, I think they work
No
hand in
worries.
hand. I don't know about choosing.
Okay. All right. In one
Uh,
word, what's missing most in Congress today?
Courage.
All right. Yes or no, should members of Congress be banned from trading individual stocks?
Yes.
All right. Yes or no again, do you support expanding Medicaid in Alabama?
Yes.
All right. And lastly, should Congress increase federal support for Gulf Coast infrastructure and hurricane resilience?
Yes.
All right. So those were the wrapping up the political portion of my rapid fire. So I do have another set towards the end of the live, so that was a little bit more
Sure.
fun.
Sure. Sure.
So
Sure.
stick around for that for me. So all right, we'll roll into talking about public safety. So considering that Baldwin County's efforts in disaster preparedness and the need for effective emergency management is essential. How would
Mhm.
you strengthen federal support for emergency management and such as disaster resilience, infrastructure, and public safety readiness in your district with the the in lieu of the dismantling of FEMA.
Well, well. First of all, we would stop the dismantling of FEMA, right? I mean,
Hmm.
that's number one. I mean, FEMA is extremely important. We don't need an administration who decides who gets help only because of who they voted for, or whether they're red or blue. We need a nonpartisan government entity that supports uh, the people that particularly live in those areas, just like Baldwin County and coastline areas. Uh, we need insurance reform. I don't know if you know much about that, but
Hmm.
the homeowners insurance. I mean, on a personal note, uh, we live in Daphne. We live below I-10. Been here, had this house built 12 years ago. Had the same insurance company the entire time. Really good, not very expensive. Well, they decided to leave this area a couple months ago. So I'm out shopping for homeowners insurance, and the cheapest one I found was three times as much as I we were paying before. It's unreal, and our mortgage went up $400 every month.
Mm.
That would have put a lot of people out of their home. Not that I have a lot of money, but I had enough money to cover that mortgage increase. But you can imagine if someone is living paycheck to paycheck and just barely getting by, for a mortgage payment to go up $400 in 1 month. We're talking about people losing their homes, be unhoused people. We hadn't talked about that yet, but that's a problem too, right? And we're putting people out. So all those things come into play when you talk about um, FEMA. You talk about the different areas, coastline, infrastructure. Um, Insurance is extremely important. Extremely important.
Absolutely. And just on a personal note, I'm experiencing increases of my homeowners insurance too. So yes, it's definitely been affecting this state a lot with the rising premium cost. All right, so the next okay. So I do have someone from our state as well. We held a town hall with Robert Hunter previously. So hi Robert, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Hey,
Good,
Robert.
good. You
What's up, buddy?
you would like to ask Mr. Clyde a question?
Yeah, at the federal level, there will
Mm,
be a lot more interactions when it comes to transportation. And I wanted
yeah.
to see what your um, ideas and experience are on expanding the rail system going through Alabama. I'm asking because we leave hundreds of millions of dollars in multiple projects at the federal level due to the fact that a lot of our representation currently is not advocating for things like expanding the rail. But for example, if we had some type of rail going through the entire state, we connect it to nearly 70% of the southern economy between
Right.
Montgomery, Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Huntsville, Michigan, not Michigan, I meant to say Memphis,
Mhm.
Chattanooga, Atlanta, and there's one other one I'm missing. Um, it would be an economic boom for everyone involved because if you're in a situation where you can only afford rent in a mid-sized town like Gadsden, you can still
Mhm.
work out of Montgomery if you can get a transit up there in under 45 minutes. If we're talking about high speed rail.
Yeah. Right. Thank you for that question. Yeah, I mean, I wholeheartedly agree with you. I mean, the train system is important. It's important to economic growth. It's important to just being able to get people from A to B. When I lived on the East Coast, there were people living in Richmond, Virginia, working in Washington, D.C., who would ride the train to work every morning. And I didn't even realize that. But if you know anything about the East Coast, there's a train line that from, way up north to New York, all the way down to Florida. We need that in Alabama. I actually rode the train to Anniston, Alabama for basic training, in 1984. So we need transit. But in the state of Alabama, we just not long ago put a line in the budget for transportation, right? It wasn't even a line in the budget in the state for transportation. We still don't put money in it, but there's a line in the budget now for transportation. Federal government has offered the state of Alabama money for transportation, but the state of Alabama has refused it. They've said, we take care of our own. We don't need it. We don't need help from the federal government. It's happened many times. So I'm all for infrastructure, money coming down for transportation. The rail line would be awesome for the entire state. We just got the Mobile New Orleans line back. It has been awesome. It has been great to have that Amtrak line back and active. They've had to add cars because there's so many people taking the train. So absolutely, Mr. Hunter, I will be all for federal government helping fund rail transportation in the state of Alabama. I think it's important. I think we need to do it. I can't even get in a train from Mobile and go up north at all. I have to ride over to Mississippi to catch a train just to go up north, right? So we need to do much better, and we need people like you up there in the state house to make that happen.
Thank you for your answer. And yes, that is one of the main reasons why I'm running, is because there's a lot of economic opportunity that's kind of sitting dormant for that. And yes, that will be one of the things I'm working on once I get into the legislature.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that, Robert Hunter. I appreciate your question. All right, so we're going to go ahead and roll it into talking about the second portion of public safety. So my last question regarding this topic is, we know that crime prevention often depends on social services such as mental health support and community engagement, not just policing, as we tend to know as public safety. Can you tell me how would you support increased federal funding for mental health crisis teams, such as community-based intervention programs or social services for the district?
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. I one of the other things that I do for the community that I didn't mention is I'm part of NAMI, which is National Alliance on Mental Illness. So that is very important to me as well. The mental illness, making sure that people are taken care of. Hopefully, everyone on here has watched the Alabama Solution about Alabama prisons, because it touches on that, how we're not taking care of prisoners that are dealing with mental illness. But I would certainly fund, and that's all part of Medicaid expansion as well, right? It includes mental illness care. We need that. We need years ago, I think it was just before I moved to Alabama, they closed major mental health hospitals, right? And I don't know what prompted that decision. I don't know what. So now we're just lumping people into the prison system, right? Who need mental health care. But as far as public safety is concerned, we need programs that prevent crime more than we need locking people up, right? We need programs for young people. We need preventative programs as far as public safety is concerned. A lot of people, and I just saw a video of one of the, I think it was the police commissioner in Montgomery talking about our open carry, right? Our permitless carry in Alabama. He was saying, you want me to do my job, but you're passing laws that people can carry a weapon without even having a permit. So you're making things extremely difficult for me to do. But if we have legislators in place who will pass legislation, sensible legislation when it comes to guns. I'm not talking about taking anyone's guns away or anything, but just sensible legislation when it comes to preventative measures, healthcare, having people on call or people working with the police to deal with mental health issues, right? So, and to be able to de-escalate, if they go on a call and it's mental health related, to be able to de-escalate the situation. Police officers, they get a lot of training, but being trained on how to do those things effectively, I don't believe they get enough in that at all. And we need people actually working to be able to do those things. But that's very important to me too. That public safety for sure.
I will say in most of the major cities in the state, such as Birmingham, Huntsville, Montgomery, Mobile, I've been noticing a lot of the mayors have been working with their police chiefs to have more engagement in the communities and
Mm,
trying to be more conscious of hiring police chiefs and actually hiring police officers that have relationships with the people in those blighted communities. That way they can curb the crime there. I did see a statistic over the past year that overall crime is down in the state, so I can say
mhm,
that is somewhat of a thing to highlight that is motivational and inspiring thus far. But to your point about the fact that the state legislature decided to pass a law that you can open carry without a license, that is concerning. So,
mhm.
and then of course the other policy that they did, one good thing they did highlight last year was early this year, which was the cause from last year's incidents, that they did ban Glock switches.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
so that was interesting. I may not say the term right, but I know in certain communities we call them switches. So I was
Yeah. Yeah.
happy about
That's what
that.
it is. Block switches. I think that's what I've heard them referred to as
Yeah,
block
switches.
switches. Yeah.
Yes.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. So I can't say that. That could be something that's good that can be highlighted in the state. But all right. So
Absolutely.
that is the end of the topic about public safety. Is there anyone else that would like to come up and ask Mr. Clyde a question regarding this topic? Also, I did see someone that put a comment saying to you that they would like for you to sign a petition that you cannot be bought. We also need more action and legislation and not talk. And how do you plan on making change and passing legislation?
Uh, Now, what was the first one about signing something about not being bought?
There
Oh,
is a
okay.
few candidates. I forgot the name, so please forgive me. There are a few candidates that we highlighted on this platform that
Mm-hmm.
signed petitions saying that they cannot be bought by like corporate PAC money and other
Oh, yeah.
special interest lobbying groups. So they were saying that what is your stance on that? Do you accept corporate PAC money?
Oh, no, no, I don't. And I've been asked that, when I do, public speaking events, I've been asked that a couple times in a row. I do not. I don't accept any PAC money. So this is a grassroots campaign.
Have you been
So
approached?
I have not been approached.
Mm.
And we're in Alabama, and I'm a Democrat. Uh, they're fighting it out on the other side of the aisle, so they're not even thinking about me right now. But I have been approached. I have been approached about term limits, which I'm a proponent of having term limits. I think sometimes people get in office and they're entirely too long, right? And they just forget about um, the people that they represent. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely agree that there should be term limits. So I just saw someone said, did you say how it feels about about ICE?
Your thoughts about ICE?
This Oh, yeah, yeah, that is heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to see what's going on in our country right now when it comes to ICE. I just watched a
We've had a
video. I don't
few
know if you
raids here in
saw.
the state. Hmm.
Right. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, they were raiding here in Baldwin County a lot. And
Mhm.
initially, earlier in the year, we had people building houses, and some neighbor would call and
Elementary
say, "Hey,
schools.
yeah,
Hmm.
building school." Right. They went to Gulf Shores and rounded up a bunch of folks. It
Hmm.
again, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to see that. I don't know if you saw, there was a Navy sailor that got stopped in uniform last week in Virginia. I don't know if you saw that video, but
Yes.
as a veteran, if that doesn't make you mad that someone in uniform gets detained by ICE and asks, "Can I see your passport?" He gave him his military ID and he said, "That's not good enough." So he was there an hour and a half, 2 miles away from the base when he was going to work, until someone bought him his passport, and they kept him there. That is heartbreaking. I mean, to see those type of things happen. Young lady went to court. I mean, you see different stories every day. Young lady went to court to report, or to the police to report, she was as a sexually assaulted, and got arrested for being in the country undocumented, and deported like within a day. Her family didn't even know where she was, right? So those things are happening, and they're in New Orleans right now. Very heartbreaking. Very heartbreaking. They're pulling weapons on roofers, no probable cause, nothing, right? So we need to fix this, and we need to fix it soon. So I'm looking forward to hopefully being a part of the solution and help fix this issue.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, expounding on that for us. All right, so we're going to roll into talking about environment and infrastructure. So regarding Alabama's first district's coastline, it's a bit unique coastline for those who are not familiar with Alabama's coastline. Alabama tends to face rising threats of sea level rising, coastal erosions, flooding, and climate-driven storms, because we do get a lot of hurricanes. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
With that being said, a lot of people don't know that we also deal with heavy pouring rains that tend to cause a lot of blighted infrastructure and causes pauses with development in certain areas. Could you tell me, how would you support protecting those coastal ecosystems, such as upgrading and in having future infrastructure funding for that area to make the structures more prepared for those type of climate changes?
Well, absolutely. The previous administration had a lot of money designated for this area, for that infrastructure, and for correcting some drainage problems and so forth and so on. That has been held up, right? And we may not ever get. But I completely support us getting those funds and making those things happen. We need a new bridge here. If you ever travel back and forth across the Mobile Bay over here,
Yes. It goes all the way up high and come down.
Oh, we need.
Yes.
I mean, there are many things that we need. One of the things that this administration, and this is not Lowndes County is not in our first congressional district, but the previous administration had designated millions of dollars to fix the sewage problem in Lowndes County. Congress had approved it. It was coming. This current administration stopped it and said it was DEI related, because the people that are mainly affected by that problem are Black people. So these people are living with sewage in their front yard. The kids can't even go out and play in a wide area in Lowndes County. But now the money is not coming to get it fixed, when it was already approved by Congress, when it was already. So we're in the same boat when it comes to infrastructure here on the Gulf Coast, right, as well. So we need to make sure we get these things, and it's particularly harmful when it's already been designated, already been approved by Congress, and then stopped. And to call something like that, fixing a sewage problem that's been going on for years, that people have been lobbying for almost 20 years, and stop it and said it's a DEI project.
Yes.
So environmental injustice is something that's really near and dear to my heart as well. So I have a lot of friends, Africa Town, the cancer that we see over there with the industries in that area. And we, other parts of the state, have that those same concerns. Now, my far eastern part of the state, they have their own different, Dothan, all those areas. As a matter of fact, I'll be in Dothan tomorrow, but they have their own unique issues, right, to deal with. The military there, Fort Rucker and Enterprise area, they all have their own. In environmental justice is throughout the district and throughout the state, right? So we have to take a serious look at that. But when you have an administration in Washington D.C. who doesn't care about people like that, we're not going to have the funds. We're not going to have. So we need to get people up there who actually care about the people that they represent.
Thank you for that. And I'm glad you brought up about the lawsuit that the last administration filed for Lowndes County, Alabama, because for a long time, to your point, for decades, they advocated for the state of Alabama to fix the infrastructure when it came to the piping and the sewage. Because to your point, a lot of the raw sewage was backed up in a lot of people's backyards. It caused a lot of health issues. And then finally, when they had someone on the federal level to advocate, this new administration came in and canceled it under the guise of DEI. So glad you brought that point back up, because that should be something that directly affects people in rural areas such as Lowndes County, because a lot of times people think rural is just only one demographic, but minorities in the South live in rural areas as well that tend to be forgotten. So thank you for shedding light on that again, because I talk about that a lot. All right, so the next question I have for you is, if elected, how would you work to ensure that hazard mitigation and coastal resistance funding actually reaches Baldwin County and other vulnerable communities in the district that tend to get forgotten?
Well, I mean, that's why I'll be there, right? I'll be there representing these communities. So I want to make sure that the funding gets directly to the people that need it, to those forgotten areas, and we can forget those areas sometimes, but that's why you need representation there who cares more about the people they represent, more than they care about party or an individual, right? So I will lobby. I will make sure that the funds that are needed in the first congressional district are here. You know, a lot of times what we do is they'll give us a little something, right? We'll be all excited, but it's really nowhere near what we need to actually get the job done, right? So they come, especially in election years. Oh, we're giving you, $2 million to do this, when you need at least 10, right? But we're giving you something. We're working, right? So we have to be mindful of those. I call it the shell game. They keep moving things around, make you think you're about to get something, but it's not happening. So I definitely will work towards getting the money directly to those areas and those agencies that actually need that money. So I look forward to being able to do that.
Now, I do have a follow up with you, because people tend to don't think that certain, like your tax dollars or just your elected officials are not advocating for you. Do you believe in actually telling people what you've done for them, like being on the line of actually bragging or just highlighting what you have done, like putting those big cardboard checks to say like, hey, this is an amount of money that I brought to the district? Do you believe in that type of way of showing your constituents, this is what I'm doing for you, like actually putting it out there visibly for them to see?
Yeah, I believe in making it visible for them to see, because if you don't do that, a lot of times they don't see it until way later. But I also don't believe in just doing things for photo op, right? So I think there's a fine line there in displaying what you're doing and just showing up just for a photo op, and this current administration, you had and even during the last administration, you had legislators showing up at a groundbreaking or a ribbon cutting for something that they voted against, right? And taking credit for, hey, look at what we have here in Baldwin County or whatever, but they voted against it up at the federal level, right? So you know what I'm saying? So to me, that's just a photo out and taking credit for something that you But we have to be transparent, right? If you're going to vote against something, you shouldn't be there at the ribbon cutting taking credit for it, right? So, but we've seen a lot of that happen over the
Yeah.
last years. We've
Yeah,
seen a lot.
especially with the infrastructure bill. A lot of them voted
Yeah.
it
Oh
down, but
yeah.
then they
Yeah.
were down
Yeah.
to their districts at the ribbon cutting.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No doubt.
So
No
I
doubt.
understand.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So thank you for that. All right. So if anyone would like to come up and ask Mr. Clyde a question regarding what we just talked about regarding infrastructure and environmental, feel free to request up. I'm going to go ahead and check to see if there's anyone in the queue. No, there isn't. All right. So we're going to go ahead and give you another set of rapid fire questions. So
Okay.
these are more fun in nature. So
All right.
hopefully, let's see how battle tested you are. All
Okay.
right.
Okay.
All right. What's more nerve wracking, military inspections or political debates?
Military inspection.
Okay. And regarding food, your favorite food, or maybe choose between the two, fried catfish or seafood gumbo?
Seafood gumbo.
Okay. All right. Is your playlist more classical gospel, southern blues, or old school R&B?
It's across. It's probably more old school R&B, but I have a very eclectic taste in music. I have a little bit of everything on my playlist, from country to classical. So,
Okay. All right. What's harder to manage, a platoon, a congregation, or social media?
well, at my advanced age, probably social media. No, but but sometimes a congregation can be pretty difficult to to manage. I mean,
Okay.
sometimes, yeah, very difficult.
So are you a college football fan before I ask this next question?
Uh, I am, but you're gonna get me in trouble because I normally root for where my money went. So my oldest son graduated from Texas A&M, and my youngest son graduated from Marshall University. So I don't have anybody here. But go ahead and ask your question. Go ahead and ask your
All
question.
right, but if you had to choose, are you
Uh huh.
Roll Tide or War Eagle?
War Eagle. War Eagle.
Okay.
War.
I should have known based off of the region. War
Yeah.
Eagle. All
Yeah.
right.
War Eagle.
So, all right, if you could have dinner with any leader, military or civic, who would you pick?
A current leader now?
It could be any living or anyone that is no longer with us.
Oh, okay. But no longer with us, it'd probably be Dr. King, Martin Luther King Jr. For living, it would be President Obama.
Okay.
Mm.
All right, good choices. All right. Lastly, well, second to last, we know in February, what would you prefer, attending Mardi Gras in New Orleans or Mardi Gras in Mobile, Alabama?
Uh, I actually prefer Mobile, and I've been to both. As a matter of fact, I did Mardi Gras some in New Orleans this past Mardi Gras. Um, but I prefer, and my wife prefers Mobile. I think it's more. My wife likes catching stuff, so I think you get more you get more stuff in
Yeah,
Mobile. And
yeah.
then I have a lot of friends in Mobile. They have their own Mardi Gras ball. We normally go to that ball, and we attend,
I've been.
Fat Tuesday with them. So all day tailgating. So I do prefer Mobile.
Okay. And bonus question,
Hmm.
and this is for people that are in the chat that are not from Alabama. Which city started Mardi Gras? Mobile, Alabama, or New Orleans, Louisiana?
Mobile, Mobile,
Good question.
Mobile, Alabama. I
You
know
got it.
Mobile. Yeah, Mobile. Yeah, they. That discussion comes up because again, we do have a lot of friends in New Orleans and spend a lot of time in New Orleans, but that comes up every year. but yeah, it's Mobile. So, yeah,
And yes, for those who don't know, that has always been a topic. Which
it is.
city started it? But the truth is, Mobile, Alabama started Mardi Gras.
That's
It's
right.
just New Orleans is more popular,
It
but
is. Yeah, we
Mobile started
started
it.
here in
Yes.
North America. Yeah, for sure.
All
Yeah.
right, so that wraps up my last set of topic questions. So, Mr. Clyde, I thoroughly enjoyed having you here tonight. It has been a great conversation for us to get to know you. But with the final message you would like to tell the viewers, what would you tell them towards heading to the primaries and election day? What is your final message to them?
My message is, if you want to see change, if you don't like what's going on in our country right now, uh, invite your friends, your family. Make sure they're all registered to vote. Make sure they all have a way to the polls. We need turnout. We need as many people as we can get to those polls. There are a lot of people who don't like what's going on in this country on both sides of the aisle. Let's make sure that we do the right thing, take care of our civic duties, and vote, and vote for people that care about you more than they care about party or stock trading or any of those things. So
Thank you for that. And also, how can people follow you? Give out your socials, your website, or how people can contribute to your campaign, how
sure.
they can stay involved with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're on Instagram as Clyde for Congress, as well as we have a page on Facebook, Clyde for Congress. The In the bio of both of those, we have Act Blue, um, and then the address as well. So please follow me on those. Follow me on TikTok here, and get involved. Get involved. Any type of donation is welcome. Any $5 to whatever. Is welcome, because again, we're a grassroots campaign. We need support. I saw some of the numbers that the Republicans were boasting about money wise. It's a ridiculous amount of money they're raising for these campaigns. Uh, but I need you. I need people. I don't care about having a whole lot of money. I just need enough money to pay for us to get out and get the word out. But other than that, I need grassroots. I need people on the ground. Uh, like people like to say boots on the ground. I need those boots on the ground. And that's what's important. So please follow me in Apply for Congress. Um, and I look forward to meeting you all, as we go along this journey for the next year before this election.
All right. All right. So, once again, thank you, Mr. Clyde. It has been a great conversation getting to know you and your campaign. But before you go, we would like to invite you to our next town hall. We have one coming up tonight. We have another town hall at 8 p.m. at Eastern Standard Time tonight. We have two people we will be getting to know on the town hall, and their names are Hollis Lewis and Shannon Welsh. They will be doing a town hall together at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So hopefully, if you have some extra time, you can sit back and sit here and participate and listen in to their conversation that we will have with them. And also, we do have a candidate roundtable we'll be doing on Saturday as well. So be on the lookout for our invitational letter that we'll be sending to you if you would like to participate in that. And that consists of we will have at least 4 or more candidates that will be up here on the panel with you talking about a set of topics and current events that are going on in today's politics. So we would love to have you if you would like to join our town hall on Sunday as well. But as I said before, you all who are in the chat, this is a double header tonight. So we've just gotten to know Mr. Clyde Jones, and we also will be having Hollis Lewis and Shannon Welch jointly together after this town hall. So stick around and get to know them as well. So in the meantime, thank you all for being here. It has been a great night. Thank the people in the chat. You all have been a great set of people to ask Mr. Clyde questions. And also, I want to thank our OVC team. This would not be without our team doing the due diligent work of getting this thing up and running. And most importantly, OVC in general. All right, so with that being said, you all, our vote counts. We are a nonpartisan movement uniting Americans from all walks of life to empower voters, support candidates of integrity, and ensure every voice is heard. Through education, outreach, and accountability and action, we're building a stronger democracy together. So, with one informed vote at a time, please join us because your vote is your power. And until then, see you all in the next 45 minutes. Bye.
Thank you. Yeah, have a good night.
Have a good night.